Okay, so I mean, this session is specifically for those in Think Digital. I've just kept it open for some members in IEEE as well, because the faster we learn back in, we can also work on the projects as well with these. So there might be some stuff over here that's very specific to the TD people. So if you're not from TD, just feel free to ignore that part alone. Okay. So for the next 4 weeks, we'll be having like 8 sessions, 2 per week, where we'll cover these topics over here. Okay. What is backend development? What is Node? This first two we'll take a look at today, and other things in the upcoming sessions. Package managers, what are databases, building your own backend server, then how to secure your code and how actually you deploy it and make it live to the web. So so far in TD, what we've done is we've covered the basics of frontend and how to work with JavaScript as well mainly. Okay, so we've covered HTML, CSS, and JavaScript till the basic ES6 concept, right? We've also taken look at how the JavaScript engine itself works uh, from the sorry, yeah, from how it works from reading your code to how it's actually executed part by part in a synchronous manner versus an asynchronous manner, right? We saw the call stack, the event loop, and when it comes to asynchronous code, you have the micro task queue, right? So all these we've seen a very general look at. I've even shared resources in the previous one. You can read if you're feeling like you're lacking out. Okay. So based on this knowledge, what we've covered so far, we'll we'll obviously be going forward with JavaScript only, but we'll try to look at in general what backend development actually is, right? So why do we need to learn backend development? It's to create complex logics that you cannot do on the browser. If you can do them, if you want to do them, you can do it, but you'll be limited by certain set of tools that the browser can offer, and most of the time it will usually be slow. The browser can only do so much at a time, right? And when it comes to storing data, we've seen the browser, you have the local storage, session storage, all these. But when you go to backend, you will have additional options of either storing them as tables or as documents, independent of the user interaction. You have full control of it. Whereas if you come to the browser storage, the user can anytime open up their local storage and delete the stuff, right? Then you can work on some really cool features like real-time stuff, custom workflows, all these when it comes to backend, like the specific concept called stream sockets, all these we'll take a look at in the upcoming sessions. But backend opens a possibility of many things that you could otherwise not do just with front end stuff. Okay. So best way to understand it is like something you can relate as well is the academia portal we have, right? If I open it up, I'll first have the login page, right? So it actually goes to okay, I'm already logged in. So it checks in the backend whether my email does exist. If it does exist, check if the password is correct. Then if I go to my profile, you can see that my name is here, my register number. It's very specific to me, right? When you log in, your details are shown over here. Since I'm third year, I probably have a different timetable mentioned here, and your second year, you might have different timetable. Okay. Even the elective selection, I have a different set, right? So to make this unique for each user, you as a front-end developer, you cannot keep creating this for each and every student, right? Okay, I'll create this page for Kunal. That's done. When he accesses from his system, he'll get his page. That's not how it works, right? You need to create a common page, what you call a template, and you populate these fields in the backend, and then you give it to the user. So backend does simplify things, keep things protected, and overall, it's if you had to describe it in one word, it's basically it's what the user does not see. It's what the user does not interact with. That's what, in a very layman terms, backend actually is. Okay. Yeah, I mentioned that as well. So you have many things that over here, logic, how login works, how sign up works, uh, maybe checking roles as well, right? Uh, you can stream videos like how we are doing right now in this current meet. Then real-time updates, maybe your WhatsApp chats. You type in your phone, you can also see the same thing happening in the WhatsApp web, right? And other custom stuff as well. So when it comes to backend applications, there are many ways to do it. You can either code it out in JavaScript, Python, Java, Goras. All these languages support backend development. Okay. And one crucial thing I want you to understand is uh, start thinking independently of the browser. You're not in the browser anymore. Your your server, your backend is an entire system, and that system has access to many things that the browser does not. Okay, so we'll take a look at those in a minute as well. Okay, so for these backend sessions, right, I wanted to focus on Node.js because that's all I know. I mean, I know a bit of Python, but since we've already learned JavaScript in the previous sessions, it will be much easier to learn Node.js and creating a backend application with the same. Okay, so what exactly is Node.js, right? People mistakenly call it framework, they call it a library, but it's actually far from it. Node.js is actually a runtime environment to run your JavaScript code in your system. It does not have to be inside a browser. So far, all the JavaScript code you've written, you always did a link, a script tag link to a HTML file, and then only it used to run in your browser, right? So that was possible because of the V8 engine. If you're using Chrome, it's the V8. If you're using Safari, I guess it's a JavaScript core engine. So these engines are nothing but they take your JavaScript code and convert into machine readable code, right? We've already seen this stuff. So uh, this part we've already worked with. So working with browser, you have many different stuff you can access with. Uh, the DOM API, where you can change the content of the web page, the web fetch API, where you can fetch content from outside. There's also something called the Navigator API, right? That you can share content, see what devices are connected to your system. All these are possible with some web browser APIs that are provided by the specific browser. Okay, while Chrome might have one feature, it's not necessary that Edge also might have it. Okay, so uh, how exactly does Node.js work, right? So let's take a little bit history lesson. There's this guy called Ryan Dahl. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correct. So back in 2009, he took the V8 engine from Chrome. It was open source, obviously. And what he did was he just put it in a system. It's as straightforward as that. Sure, there were a bit of things uh, migration wise, you had to do a lot of changes. So uh, it was basically this is what happened when it yeah. So that guy, what he did, he just took the V8 engine from the browser and he put it in a system, made some changes, okay, and that allowed uh, him to create Node.js, what today is really popular in server-side scripting language. And along with while doing this, it gave us access to almost everything that a system can offer. Your file system, creating servers, accessing your manipulating your files, basically, uh, securing them using the crypto library. All these are part of Node.js, but we don't have to worry about that now. Just know that Node.js is built on top of the V8 engine and various other C++ implementations. Okay, so majority of uh, Node.js V8 is written in C++ right now. Okay, so yeah, here are some other engines that are popular. Firefox uses Spider Monkey. Edge uses Chakra. Safari uses the JavaScript core. Okay, so these are present in all of the browser out there. Without these engines, your browser is basically just it'll just render the static pages without any functionality. Okay, so let's just get started with installing. Okay, so I understand some of you are using Windows and some of you are using Linux or Mac as well. So if you want to install for Windows, just go to this link. Okay, and if you want to install for Linux or Mac, just go to this one. All right. Okay. So if you're Windows, just pretty simple. Click the 18.16 LTS. LTS basically stands for long-term support. So basically, it's the version that is tested and ready for production use. And if you're in Mac or Windows, just follow the steps here. Okay. Uh, yeah, it's mentioned over here for each system how to do it. All right. So this should give you an idea of how to install Node.js. You guys need a moment to download it for those who haven't done it yet. Just let me know in the chat if I can proceed, okay? Yeah, pretty straightforward. Just open your command line or your terminal. I'm not sure if I'm sharing that. Just give me a second. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I hope it's visible. Yeah, and just to know dash V. Okay, I'm currently on the 16.14 version. Additionally, just do npm dash V as well. Okay. Yes, like Costa mentioned in the chat, right? Just run this command to check if you have it installed. Cool. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was about to get to this. To after you downloaded, just run these commands to check if you've installed or not. Okay. Okay, so when you install Node, you basically get two things: the actual library itself and another CLI tool, command line tool called npm. Okay, so npm stands for Node Package Manager. And it allows you to download libraries or packages that you can use that are not part of Node actually that provide you an extended functionality as well. Okay, so we'll we try to differentiate both what you get with Node and what you get with npm as well. Okay, so before that, if you want to play around a bit, just go back to your command line tool. I mean your command prompt and just type in Node. Okay, so you can directly write your code over there. Okay, so it'll console log this. Basically, you know the log defined returns undefined, right? So it's just giving the return object over there as well. Okay, so you are allowed to do the same thing as you could do in any other JavaScript file, but you can see, right? We are not in a browser anymore. We are outside the browser. We are inside a system where Node is taking our JavaScript code and running it directly without the support of a browser. So you can maybe put maybe a variable as well, uh, and then you console log. We should give you that, right? So it works just like a normal JavaScript file. Okay. But one difference is you won't have access to your browser APIs. You know that the DOM API is specific to the browser, right? If you want, you can try it out here also, just to element is equal to document dot queries selector, and maybe just put I don't know, box. It'll give you a document is not defined. Why? Because we are not in the browser anymore. We are outside of it. Okay, this is one key difference you got to understand. Okay, so if you want to know more about it, just see browser specific variables. Okay, yeah, good. So you have this whole list over here. Okay, so these are stuff that you can access through your browser and not through Node.js, because Node.js is not is inside your system. All right, cool. Moving on. When you install Node, you get something called modules. These modules are present by default with Node, and you can access them without having to install them separately because they're already part of Node. Okay. And additionally, if you want to have uh, modules that provide a functionality, extended functionality, yeah, custom. You can't use DOM queries because your the JavaScript you're writing inside Node is not linked to your browser. And the DOM query, right? All these are part of your browser. You're not inside the browser anymore. Good. So yeah, modules are present by default with Node, and packages are something that you install additionally. Uh, Basically, what I'm trying to tell is, you know how when you get a new phone, it comes with certain apps, right? Your camera, your phone, uh, keypad, all these are available by default. So same way modules are present by default when you download Node. And then same way when your phone, you have to download WhatsApp, maybe Instagram, all these. You also have packages which you download separately late, at a later point when you need it. Okay. So all these FS, HTTPs, they seem a bit like confusing, right? FS basically stands for file system. It's used to interact with your folders, your directories, your individual files. HTTPS are used for creating servers with Node.js. zlib is basically for file compression. Crypto libraries, it has various hashing and encrypt decrypt methods to protect your data. Okay. Then additionally, packages, as I mentioned, that you download externally, you might have heard of Express, JWT, JSON Web Token, Bcrypt.js, all these. We will take a look at those in later sessions, but these are something you download externally, and these packages are basically built on top of the existing modules, and they make it easier for you to create applications without you having to quote unquote reinvent the wheel. Okay, so they provide functionalities that make it easy and for you to not waste your time doing it from scratch. Okay, so I mean, this was just a very basic overview. Okay, let's uh, if you install Node, let's try to take a look at it in the system also. Okay, let me share my full screen. Okay, so just okay, so I am in this folder right here. What I'll do is I'll open my VS Code. Okay, in the same folder. And what I'll do is I'll just create a index.js file. Okay, so let's start with something very simple, console.log, hello world. Okay, then let's just create two variables, a is equals to 10, p is equal to 20, and then just consider log a plus b. Okay, just basic JavaScript stuff that you do usually. All right. Uh, what else should we try to do? Let's try this as well. Okay. Uh, okay. So and let's do consider down. Okay. So let's just take a look at simple hello world. Okay. Then I'm declaring two variables a, b, adding them. And then inside my tracker block, I'm basically using the document DOM API. And if this gives any error, which we expect it to give since we are not in the browser, it should console log not in browser. Okay. So how do you actually run this code? It's pretty straightforward. Okay. You just type in node and then you type in the name of the file, right? You see, hello world. Then it gave me sum of A and B, which is 30 as expected. And it said not in browser, right? Because document is not part of the DOM API is not part of the Node.js environment. All right, I hope you got this specific key point over here that you need to get out of the mindset that you're independent of the browser right now. All right, any doubts so far? Cool. Cool. Just put in the chat box, right? Yes or simple yes or no also works. Okay. Yeah. So let's move on to NPM. NPM stands for Node Package Manager. Okay. I went to that. Yeah. So I told you, right, all these additional stuff that you install uh, to create applications, like those Express JWT libraries, it all comes from a source called npm.js. Okay, so all those libraries are managed by this specific entity, and they keep track of all the changes, what has been removed, what hasn't been removed, what version it is currently in, is the package still supported or not, whether it's deprecated. All these are managed by here, and suppose and you have like a full uh, I don't know, listing of all these libraries that you can search for. Express is a popular one, right? So if you go to npmjs.com package/express, you can see it gives you the code of how to install npm. I mean, how to install Express for your project. We'll get to that also in a second. And it gives you various details, right? Basically, the documentation stuff. Uh, how to get started, how to install, what are the features of this library, uh, some examples of how to use, who are the actual contributors, and on the right side it tells you like, oh, okay, this is been has this many weekly downloads, how big is the package. All of these are mentioned in npm.js. Okay, you can freely come up to the website, search for the package you're looking for, and you'll get an idea over here. Okay, and obviously the most packages have their own website as well with much detailed documentation. Okay, so if you go to guide here, it tells you like how it actually works, how to actually use the library. Don't worry, we will not be seeing Node, I mean Express today, because we still have to explore some of the native modules, right? So before you actually install uh, a package, there's something you got to do. You got to initialize a project within within the specific folder that you're working in. Okay, so you do that by simply typing npm init. Okay, hope you follow along. Just type npm init, and then it will ask you various things. It will tell you like this is a walkthrough to create a package.json file. We'll see what is that in a minute. And it tells you like you use this command to install further packages proceeding forward. All right. So package name, it will take by default the name of the folder. I'll just click enter over there. Okay. Session. No, okay. This is happening because it does not allow these characters to be in the package name. Okay. Okay. Then it asks you a version. You can leave that as default. Description up to you. You can always change the stuff later. And then entry point index.js. Sure, that's what we just created. Test command also you can skip it. We don't have a Git repo as of now, so we can skip that as well. Keywords. Basically, if you're publishing a package to npm, you created a package on top of the existing node modules. You can put specific keywords to help it promote to in the package directory, so other people can find what they're looking for in respect to the keywords that you put. For now, we can skip this because we're not doing that. Author, up to you. You can put your own name as well, and license you can leave that by default. Okay. Then it gives you an preview like, hey, is this okay? This is the thing that will be present in your package.json file. So I'm totally cool with it. So just put yes. Then go back to your VS Code. You'll see there's a new file called package.json. I'll open it up and it's the same stuff over here. Okay. So your package.json file is basically a file that gives a description about your uh, project. It's like in all your repos, you'll put a README file, right? Hey, this is the project, this is the features, this is how you install. Same way, the package.json file tells, gives a description about a node project, like, hey, this is the name. These are some scripts to automate some CLI commands. This is the person who created, it's licensed under this specific entity. Then additionally, it will also tell what dependencies are used in your project, what packages are you using in your project. Okay. So just as an example, let's go ahead and install Express. Okay. So it told npm install and then the name of the package. Okay. Let this run. Okay. So it actually went to the npm directory, npm.js online. It searched for Express. It found it and then it downloaded the whole package in our current project. Okay. So you see there should be a new new entry called dependencies, Express. Okay, so we just installed. This is mainly because when you're working uh, together as a team or working, or you have to deploy it somewhere, you need to specify to those people or to the place where you're deploying that, hey, this project depends on this library, hence dependencies. So make sure to install this before actually running the code. So it'll install Express, then only it will run the index.js file. Okay. And additionally, you saw two things it created, right? It created a package-log JSON and a node modules. So if I open up node modules, it has all these other stuff. This is the native node modules you can see present over here. Don't worry about it, just ignore those. Okay. Uh, the main thing we're looking for is Express. Okay. So you can see Express is installed under node module. So any dependencies that you install through npm, it gets created. Yeah, basically your Express, right? It's a package that uses other packages as well. And most of these packages are open source. And to keep them up and running, you need money for it. Okay. So what npm prompts certain users is to like actually go and fund these projects. Okay. So yep. Uh, yeah, so node modules actually stores the package files that you install. So it's not actually, I mean, looks like magic, right? But if you actually open it up, you'll see all the Express stuff over here. Go to index.js, you can see it's exporting the default Express stuff. All this code is see, it's using your native node modules. Path is one of them. Okay? HTTP is one of them. So your packages are built on top of your node modules. Uh, Yeah, sure. Do you mean the npm install part? Yeah, totally cool. Let's run over here. Okay. So npm, as we saw, it was installed along with Node, right? It stands for Node Package Manager, and it's a CLI tool, command line tool that allows you to interact with the actual package directory, that is npm JS. This one, yeah. So it allows you to interact with this package directory, which has listings of all the packages that were ever created from, say, I guess 2009, 11. From that time, there's probably, I know, tens of thousands of them, and it gives you certain syntax that you can type in. For example, npm install, and then after you put in the name of the package that you need to install. In our case, just as an example, we installed Express, right? If you want to see at more example, just put npm dash help, and it'll give you, just run this command and give an like the whole uh, documentation stuff of how to install. So there is install uh, specific package, npm test, npm run a specific script, help, all these and a lot more. Okay, so all of them have the specific use cases, but just to start out, npm install and the name of package is more than enough. All right. Coming to the next one, you have the, I mean, I hope that cleared it, Aditya. Just let me know if it's clear. Yeah, good. Okay, so the third thing, right? The package dash log. This is a very big file. Don't get frightened by it. Okay. So as I said, when suppose say you're creating your own package, sometimes your package will use other packages as well, right? So it needs to keep track of the whole uh, dependency tree. Like he, say Costa created a package. His package uses Expresses and JWT, and another user is going to install Costov's package. So under the hood, what it does, it installs Costov package, and it says, just as an example, his name over here, and then some version. And what under the hood, what happens? It keeps track, like, hey, this package, it uses Express and JWT and this specific version of it. So every version of a package may or may not have the same features. It either may be removed, it might be updated. You will never know what the creator of the package might do, right? So you need to download a specific version that is compatible with what you're currently looking for. So that's what the package-log.json file is for. It keeps track of the versions and make sure that you install only those versions under the hood and doesn't cause any side effects or errors in your code. All right. The idea is that you don't interact with this file at all. This is system generated. Basically, don't touch it. It will work as long as you don't touch it. All right. And suppose say you're working on someone else node project and it's given like, oh, okay, the dependency is Express. For here it's only one. You can download it one by one, right? But now imagine there's like, I don't know, 15, 20, 30, some, I know some packages have over 30 dependencies as well. So in that case, you don't want to keep typing it out. What you can do is just put npm install, like mentioned over here. It will install all the dependencies of your project. So it will look for the package.json file first, then it will look for the dependency section, and you go through each dependency one by one and install them all together. Okay. Yes, when using npm as a package manager, you have to download the packages wherever you're creating new projects. There are other package managers like Yarn and PNPM that specifically solves the problem that you're mentioning. But for now, we'll stick with NPM, okay? You don't need to get to other package managers. I think. You just need to understand for every project, if there is no node modules and if there's a package.json, make sure to run npm install. Okay? So it will tell you all this stuff. Okay. Uh, all right. You get one more thing that you can do. Since we mentioned our main is index.js and there's already an index.js file, what you can do is just simply come over to the command line, just put npm start. Oh yeah, we need to put a specific script. So here where scripts come in, right? We saw this section, but never really saw what it's used for. So scripts, they basically allow you to write specific commands that you will run on your command line, but you don't have to write the whole thing out again and again. You can just put start and node index.js. Okay. So instead of you typing node index.js over and over again, you just put npm start and it will run that same command and you'll get the output from the file. I mean, here it might seem like both are literally the same. Then why do I have to type the whole thing? Okay. So, but when you come to building applications, you probably have to, run some tests beforehand, maybe run two applications side by side. In that case, the command becomes really big. So instead of you having to write the whole command, like a really big one, you just put a single word, and that single word you can use to run that whole command. So it's kind of like a developer productivity stuff. But at the same time, since Node.js has been around for a while, what development environments, I mean production environments have is they run this command npm start by default to run your applications. So it allows you to make things run things quickly in development and also run it automatically in the deployment environments. All right. Cool. If that's all I wanted to cover for today. Just give you a hang of Node NPM. We'll obviously explore all the modules in the not all of it, the important ones in the next session. Okay. And yeah, let me know if you guys have any doubts. I just wanted you guys to get familiar with working with Node and NPM in the CLI level at least. If you have any doubts, feel free to put it up. I will share this escalator file and the websites I just mentioned. Okay. If you have any doubts, feel free to put in the chat box. Yeah, Shitansh, your hand is raised. Guys, anything, please hit me up. Oh, yeah, and basically there's a repo for this as well. Uh, yeah, this is repo. I'll make it public in a while and share a link. So all the sessions that we'll take, we'll have the uh, code up here. Okay, so doesn't get lost anywhere. And for task wise, we'll keep it one task every week. So you'll have 4 tasks totally. I don't want to keep giving for each and every session. Okay. Uh, all right. So in the next session, we'll probably cover, sorry. Yeah. We'll create a basic server using Express, but not directly. We'll first explore some of the native node modules, that is HTTP, HTTPS, file system, all these. Then we'll use Express. I don't want to jump to external packages directly. We'll get a hang of how to work with Node uh, from scratch. Okay, cool. I mean, that was it, guys. If you have any doubts, feel free to uh, drop it in the chat now. I mean, we have 3 more minutes left till this, till the free Zoom call is over. I'll just put in the group or WhatsApp. Okay? How do I connect my folder path to Node.js? Do you mean like how did Node appear in the CLI, the command prompt? Um, okay, I'm not able to understand the question in just a second. Can you unmute and ask if that's okay?
Yeah, I was asking like the first was like we did the npm init now. So
Yeah,
like
that's
how
right.
did you like in the node, how did you write your like folder like starting with backend and
Oh, that I
like how to
created it.
connect?
Oh, that folder thing, that session one, all that.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Oh,
how
actually,
to connect it to the node.js.
oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, pretty simple. Basically, npm init, what it does, right? It creates that package JSON file, and that gives you a description of how actually the node should run your project. And that specific part comes within the scripts properties over there. And those folders, I actually just created it beforehand a few weeks back before we actually started it, so it wouldn't be a problem for us.
Okay.
All right, guys. I mean, we are almost done up with this one. Uh, cool. If you have any other doubts, just feel free to ask in the group or just ping me directly. Okay? Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. Mhm. See you guys. Bye.